welcome to Part Universal Show. Today we will discuss about the Section 66A of the Information Technology Act. We have with us two panelists, Mr. Rajendran, a cyber law advocate and the Senior Vice President of Cyber Society of India, is with us. Also Mr. Balu, recently retired Additional Superintendent of Police. Mr. Balu is the first police officer in India to get the conviction for an accused under cyber law, and he is also part of the legal history. He is also with us. This panel discussion is being recorded through mobile with the panelists. Let me start with Mr. Rajendran.
Yeah.
Mr. Rajendran, now recently arrests of a few social media activists in West Bengal, Pondicherry and in Maharashtra, they have raised a lot of controversies, even at a national level debate. Even many of the social media activists demand the repeal of 66A section itself. I would like to know what is in 66A. Can you say briefly?
In brief, Section 66A of the IT Act, especially after the IT Amendment Act 2008, consists of three main parts. The first is with regard to the information that is grossly offensive or has menacing character. Second part relates to information which the sender knows to be false, but for the purpose of causing annoyance, inconvenience, danger, etc. Third is electronic mail or electronic mail message for the purpose of causing annoyance, to deceive or to mislead. Something like sending somebody, concealing the identity of the sender. These are the essentially the three parts of the section.
Mr. Balu, you started the cyber cell in Chennai Police Commissionerate, and you have a rich experience. Probably you are the earliest police officers on the cyber law. Do you think that it is right, sir, to have a knee-jerk reaction the moment when the complaints came and within few hours they arrested? And what should be the right approach?
Good evening. I served in cyber crime cell more than 6 years in Tamil Nadu Police cyber crime cell. Actually, defamation and 66A and 499 defamation under IPC has been confused with. Actually, the object of the 66A is totally different. But in some cases, it has been, I can say, misunderstood or misused because a retired police officer. Because if it is a cognizable offense, 66A, cognizable offense. If a cognizable complaint is given, he has to register. It is a legal provision under CRPC. We have to register. But there is administrative instructions. If you have any need clarification, you can get legal advice or you can get the advice of superiors without applying the mind. For some situations, 66A has been invoked. Mr. Rajendran has clearly explained. Under 66A, the result causing annoyance, but defamation is entirely different. Because in defamation is harming the reputation. That incident, I don't want to quote the particular incident. In all the incidents, whether that incident attracts defamation or annoyance.
The thing is, there is a word persistent in the act itself. That means the persistence means that there should have been a continuous harassment, no? Rajendran, what do you say?
Immediate remedy, annoyance. Cyber stalking. Continuously, if you give a call to me continuously without attending any other call, or you send a spam mail, for that situation, the 66A amendment of 66A was quite essential.
Sir, but in the cases of Maharashtra and other places, even in Puducherry cases, and even with one-time a tweet or one-time Facebook writing, they have immediately arrested.
Yes, but the police officer registered, invoked the section. He remanded. What about the remanding magistrate or the remanding victim counsel should have represented? I think how it was happened, I could not understand. Actually, it was misused.
Sir, Mr. Rajendran, Sir, I will come back to you, Mr. Balu.
No, actually, I would just like to supplement your statement as well as Mr. Balu's explanation. The word persistently is used only in the second part of the section. This section consists of three parts, as I told you earlier. The first part is only grossly offensive or menacing character. Persistently is only the second part. So, any mail, any information, any email which is grossly offensive can categorically come under this. Now the question arises, if A sends a mail which is grossly offensive to B, can A be brought under this and can he be imprisoned, can he be arrested? Now again, this poses another question, as Mr. Balu put it, the magistrate, remand, what is the representation by the accused and all that. But basically, the import of the section is not that. This section has to be dealt with in a different platter compared to defamation.
For this purpose, do you think that the demand for removal of the section is justified?
Absolutely no. In fact, I am for one very clear that the section need not be repealed. Just because the section is being abused or misused or inadvertently or due to a lack of knowledge being used by some police officials, which causes a national debate, does not mean that the entire section to be repealed. What is needed is a better representation, a better level of awareness on the part of the law enforcing agencies, on the part of the judiciary, the public prosecutor, the police officials, under different levels. Just because a law is not being understood does not mean that the law has been repealed completely.
Sir, Mr. Balu, do you think that the repealing of this act is going to be justified?
I actually come to the views of Mr. Rajendran. I am also saying that the word defamation is nowhere used in under section 66A.
Oh.
So, 66, there is no word defamation. The purpose of 66A is annoyance. Persistently, whatever may be, he explained the different situation. The result was causing annoyance.
That is cyber stacking.
What is it?
Cyber stacking.
Yes, annoyance. For immediate solution, this medicine is different but the defamation is different.
Sir, how do you think that the misuse can be reduced? As a police officer, how do you feel? How it can be reduced in future?
We have to educate if it is ignorant. If purposely we done, we have to, the court has to teach the lesson. Court can pass teacher who registered the case, who investigated the case, who supervised such cases. In due course, it will federate. This is a new situation. Because in IPC, there also we can commit mistakes, police officer or anything. Situation can arise. But for each and every matter, we can't go for repealing or revoking. That situation is not necessary because this section is absolutely necessary for some situations.
Yes,
for the citizens.
Yes, I agree on this point.
How do you think that, with this right of tightrope walking, what do you suggest for the social media activists? How they must write and how they must behave in the virtual world? Mr. Rajendran.
Okay. See, in fact, in this point, I would like to just take a few seconds. The same case existed in the case of the harassment as a result of Dowry, Anti-Dowry Act and all that. Now Supreme Court has given repeated strictures that Dowry Act is being misused, used as a weapon by some people. So by proper interpretation, the judiciary properly interpreting it and understanding the exact letter and spirit of the section, possibly in the next few months or possibly a year or two, all the courts, judiciary, the public prosecutor, the police officials, investigators, they would come to a better understanding, they would know the exact purpose of this act.
Sir, what is the suggestion that you make to the social media users, how they must behave in the virtual world?
But this is an extremely valid question. This does not justify any social media user that they can just put anything on the Facebook, or Twitter and just get away with it. Because basically our fundamental right, our right of expression, or possibly fundamental right also, is always subjective, is always subject to interpretation. Nobody has a right to annoy, to cause defamation, to disturb, or to intimidate others in India. I mean, Indian fundamental freedom of expression is not exactly the same what exists in US or possibly in other Western nation. Indian fundamental expression, Article 19, is always a subjective thing, subject interpretation. So social media users have to be better aware of the repercussions of putting anything there.
So, Mr. Balu, what is your suggestion to the social media users? how they must conduct themselves in the virtual media to avoid such a risk, legal risk?
Legal risk, the self-restraint. Everyone has to take the self-restraint, which can be put into social network sites, which view can be put. They have to take their own regulation instead of waiting for the police to act. Yes, yes. So,
what is the suggestion that you make on this? Is a self-control you mean?
Every netizen has to take care without disturbing others. They have to face their views. If such a situation comes, there won't be any problem.
So thank you, Mr. Balu. Thank you, Mr. Rajendran, for the wonderful views.
Thank you.
Thanks on behalf of the Pali Universal.
Sharing my views.
Thank you.